Hello? Okay, I guess it's about time to get started. Or something like that. I think I'm like a minute early. Alright. Yeah, hello. Good afternoon. Welcome to the Grand Blue Fantasy vs. Rising Counterplay Archive number 2. Sorry if I sound a little like out of it. I'm tired. Like, why are you tired? It's freaking the afternoon. My sleep schedule is messed up. But yeah. Regardless, we're gonna be covering Beatrix today. We're gonna try out this new format. See how it goes. Yeah. Basically just get right into it. Let me go over the overview real quick and how I'm going to structure this, and then we'll go from there. So to start off, we're going to talk about some normals to take note of. She doesn't have too many, so that'll be pretty quick. And then how to deal with each of her specials besides DP, of course, because DP is you block. So I don't think I need a whole section to go over that. But yeah, we'll be going over every version of her 3 specials: her fireball, her riding free, and then her dive kick. And then after that, we'll be going over some situational stuff. There isn't too much of that either, so yeah, I think this should be relatively quick. But we'll see how this goes. Hold on, let me close my window real quick before any outside noise messes up the volume. Sorry about that. But yeah, welcome to everybody that may be here live. And yeah, you can always come back to this later. I'm going to, the VOD should be up on YouTube afterwards, and then I should be making this into a proper video later as well, like edited, stuff like that. It'll just be like an edited version of this live stream. So technically, the VOD is just the same thing, but just, with some stuff left out. But yeah, that out of the way, let me take a sip of water and we'll get right into it. Oh, and I forgot to say, after the situational stuff, anybody has any questions about any of the stuff that I went over, maybe have some like character specific questions that they'd like to ask, or like any other more specific questions they'd like to ask, then that is the time to do so. You can always, of course, ask questions while I'm talking about some of this other stuff, but the designated time for me to, like, if you want me to like in-depth cover some of this stuff, then it would probably be best to do after I go over this stuff. But yeah, anyways, feel free to ask questions, but it'll probably be best afterwards. So normals, we're gonna start with normals. There are 4 normals I have. 2 of these are like actual standing normals, and the other 2 are her command grab and her one of her dash attacks. But yeah, let's go over her far L, because this normal is pretty good. So I don't know if you can tell by just looking at this, but this move is pretty big in comparison to most far L's. You have Gran on the other hand, and then you got Beatrix. You're like, wow, that's, you might not be able to tell at like first glance, but look at this. So yeah, this move, I brought it up not for like counterplay reasons in particular, but you'll probably be seeing this move a lot if you're playing against Beatrix, especially at higher level, because hold on, let me see if I have this on. Especially at higher level, because not that it's like groundbreaking tech, but There are definitely a lot of higher level players that implement just like, instead of like just doing like 6SL and stuff like that, they'll do like a dash far light, which Beatrix can utilize very well because of how big this is. So yeah, it's pretty big. Of course, if you're really good, you can whip punish this move, but even that is like, you can't really react to that. So I'd say just, you know, look out for this move, because yeah, you'll probably be seeing it a lot because it's big. Yeah, speaking of big moves, her other big move, and probably her only other like solid normal, is her far from H. This move is it's big. So it's 11 frames, which is, you know, not fast, or not that it's not fast, but it's like, for a far H, I guess for a far H it's not that bad. Like if you're talking about like grand far 5H, it's like 9 frames. This is and then Beatrix is 11, and it goes like, okay, not like that, but like, yeah, it's just 11 frames, and it's pretty big. So you'll probably be seeing this move again a lot. This move, unlike her far 5L, is kind of somewhat reasonable to whip punish if you're looking out for it. Obviously, it does take up like a fourth of the screen, so it's not going to be like the easiest thing to do. Like, for example, if I just like did that. Okay, yeah. So that's, you know, sometimes it's kind of not the easiest to do, but if you're looking out for it, that's always an option. So yeah, obviously not everybody's whip punishing, but yeah, I feel like it's a good idea to just keep this in mind, especially when you be seeing this move a lot. Being able to whip punish this move will definitely discourage players to just like throw out this move and whatnot. So yeah, keep a lookout for this and whatnot. YouTube audio is on the lower end. You mean like in general, or like everything? I have like max volume for my mic, and then the desktop audio compared to Twitch. That's weird, because it should literally have the same like output settings. Interesting. Yeah, so this output audio is the same as OBS. Slightly not that bad. Alright, cool. Alright. Well, good to know. I'll look into that after this. But in the meantime, yeah, let's keep going. So yeah, far 5H, if you can whip punish it, try your best to. Especially if they're just like throwing it out. Like I said, it's not that easy. Figure out what works for your character and whatnot. And Granted has a decent far 5H, so this works pretty alright. As far like even smaller normals can catch, but it's just like that. So yeah, just keep that in mind if your opponent is using this move a lot. But yeah, those are her 2 standing normals. Let's go into her 6M. Not like there is like anything like specific you're gonna be like, okay, I need to do this in anticipation of this move. You're not really, it's gonna be pretty hard to react to this move. It's 22 frames, so it's not like unreactable, but it's like pretty hard to react to if you're not ready for it. So just gonna be like, for this move, pretty much anticipate it. Always start to anticipate this move when you're at kill percent, is what I have to say, because you know this move it's very risky for her to go for. Well, obviously if their opponent is aware of it, because this can be extremely -14 is pretty minus, so like most characters can get a close H punish off of this. So Yeah, I just say look out for it when you're at kill percent, because if you're not ready for it, like I said, it's going to be a lot harder to react to, and it's definitely been seen to close out a lot of like rounds. So yeah, I'd say like if you're in kill percent, keep an eye out for this move. But if your opponent just likes using this move because, you know, they think it's funny or something like that, I can't really say anything besides learn to react. Because there really isn't anything, like there's no pattern right there. That's just they like to do this move. So yeah, it all boils down to anticipating, you know, or knowing your opponent, and then, you know, being able to anticipate certain interactions based off of that. But yeah, that's her dash normal. The next is her command grab. Her command grab, well, I was just like covering this because, like, yeah, she has a command grab. So it's something you should look out for, of course, depending on the player. You know, they might use it more or like not at all. It's always something to, like, you know, to remember that she has, of course, because a command grabs are pretty good. Of course, it's a command grab, so you can't take it with a normal grab. And it's 10 frames, so it's not like you're reacting to this at all. And it puts her in delta clock. But yeah, you know, obviously look out for it in block strings or whatnot. You can mash out of this in pretty much every situation. You won't get like no escaped like a normal throw. So like a couple situations you might see it in is like, I don't know, if she does like 214H into command grab. I'm not saying it's like gapless, but it's like you're probably worried about like a couple other things if you're blocking this move. So yeah, and then yeah, just like in block strings sometimes, you know, like stagger pressure, just run up and do it. But yeah, again, try to figure out your opponent's habits, because that's the biggest way to tell when they're going to do it. Obviously, you're not going to know right away. You're probably going to have to eat one or two of them before you kind of like get an idea of where they like to do it. Or just like I said, knowing like certain situations where typical like Beatrix players might like to do it, like after 214H, of course, or maybe in like you'll also see this move a decent bit in kill situations, so you might want to be more like active on defense in that situation. Like maybe like jumping or like mashing out. Like for example, if I were to do this, oh, I didn't even record it. Oops. If I were to jump it and be able to get a full punish off of this. So yeah, just having an idea of when to do it, or when to, like, you know, be active on defense when you see this move coming is a good idea, or a good thing to have in the back of your mind. But yeah, I don't really have much else to say about this. If you know how to play against like other command grab characters like Wadiva or Valsaraga, then, you know, play around it kind of the same, because it's pretty much the same thing, but it's just, you know, always have this in the back of your mind, because yeah, she's not technically a grappler character, but her command grab is very real. Alright, hold on. Let me take a sip of water real quick, and then we'll move into specials. Alright then. Specials. Alright, we're gonna start with her fireball, and then we're gonna end with her riding free. So, fireball. We go L fireball. This move is always safe on block. You can see -4 if you know grab is 4 frames, but you're always spaced out far enough to where this just doesn't work. So that's the wrong one. or I guess unless it's unless it's close L. But yeah, for the most part, you might see like auto combo into this into 236 L. But if it's not off of an auto combo, you'll probably see it off of a far normal, maybe like this. It is a safe block string ender, but you can roll this off of far like normal cancels or like space normal cancels. So I already have this set up. Like for example, if you spot dodge off of a 4-5L, you can you're +6. Of course, it's a preemptive because you know there's a lot of other options that she can show, but it's knowing that you can spot dodge or like roll and like punish this, and certain characters, or actually most characters, is -6, can get a punish with a normal off of a far 5L or off of a close L. Or something like that. You know, of course, depends on the character. Most characters have a at least a 6 frame close L. So yeah, off of another normal though, it has like 4-5M and 2M are the same frame data on like cancel if you roll it. This is always 4, so throw will always punish this. But yeah, this doesn't apply to every single far normal because her 4-5H is basically, it's spaced out to the point where if you don't roll it, she still retains plus frames. Like if you saw like on this, she's still minus. She's -3. Can't be punished, but she's still -3. But 4-5H though, she is still plus. You know, max distance she can be as much as +3. Obviously, she's still plus. It doesn't matter too much. Maybe like very situational stuff. You can roll it, but you cannot punish. So it's always good to, you know, not be minus. So yeah, this is always something to look out for. Like I said, you can't punish this, but being able to notice this and you know, kind of get around it if your opponent is doing this a lot, because this is a really good spot for Beatrix to be in right here. It's kind of playing this range and sticking like with this because this her 4-4H covers a lot of options, and this is a pretty just like standard, don't have to think too much, throw this out, because she's extremely safe on this unless you have like, unless you're gonna like reversal super right here and it catches her. So yeah, being able to like get out of this position, or knowing how to get out of this position, is pretty important. So yeah, roll right there if you know your opponent is abusing that move or that specific like situation. But yeah, that's pretty much the L version. The M version is basically just the L version, but it's the longer startup and retains, or she's a lot more plus because of the longer startup and it's active frames. It takes about like 30 something frames to come out. If she's point blank, this is still -4, but she can actually be grabbed out of this because it's only one hitbox, or it's one hit. You see like the L version, 2 hits, so like it kind of pushes her away. The M version is just 1, and so yeah, this isn't really good for her up close, but yeah, you'll be seeing this a lot, like off of 4-5H again. I guess the most important place to kind of recognize or you know, kind of be aware of this move is once again in, that was the wrong record, in this position right here, because again 4-5H into like anything is really strong in this range. But also with the change of timing, This also catches roll. So specifically at this distance, I had the other one recorded to show that roll actually beats this off of like a like far M or a 2M, and you can get a bigger punish than you would have been before. So you have like +7, depending on how early you roll is how positive you are in this situation. So yeah, if you see them ever doing this right here, then you can kill them for it, just the same way that you did for the L version. But yeah, M version is pretty strong in this range right here, because if you block it, she's insanely plus. You try to roll to beat out the other option, you get hit and it's a full combo. So like, what do you do about this? What do you do about this? If it was if it was like M, you can still roll this move, but you can also just mash out and beat her for it, and like beat this option. Of course, figure out like what your punish is depending on the character. But yeah, you can mash out of this if you're close enough. It might work. It will probably work if you're like playing like Fairy or Matera for the 4-5H range, but like in general, most characters can't really deal with this. Like I try mashing out, we trade, even though I'm like still plus on that trade. Honestly, I was about to say you might be able to trade and still get a full combo. Depending on your character, you might, but you know, obviously test out what works for you. But obviously, you want a bigger punish than this. So what else do? You can jump. So, like depending how like your normal or something like that you use in the air, you should be able to get a full punish. And depending on how early you do it, usually you're gonna need to do it earlier, because if you do it too late, as you can see, she still recovers in time to block. You have like maybe. Well, yeah, it just depends on the air normal. Obviously, certain characters probably have an easier time hitting this, but yeah, there's something to keep in mind at that range in particular, because this is a very annoying position to be in against Beatrix. You get hit by a 4-5-8, you take a lot of damage. Of course, you don't have to punish her every single time. Just being a plus in her face is better than, you know, being back in the same position that you were before. So yeah, keep that in mind when you're in this position in particular and they're using this move. Obviously, the being able to interchange in between the M version and the H version is pretty good for her, so you're not going to be able to guess right every time, but just, you know, you have a hunch, because this is what all that fighting games boil down to, is just, you know, making right guesses. So if you know you have a good guess that they're going to start doing this, then you can start jumping. If they like using this move, if they like using 2-3-6-L, then you can roll or something like that. But yeah. Alright, moving into her H Fireball. Her H Fireball is basically her L Fireball, but it's always plus. So yeah, you can interact with it the same way as you would her L Fireball, but you'll actually be more plus than you were before, because of the fact that this comes out faster. You see the first active frame is 16. Or actually, not even that it comes out faster, is because it's active frames, or its recovery is a frame slower than her L Fireball. But yeah, is actually more punishable on situations like this by a single frame. So this changes not too much, obviously, depending on your character, but if it's like this, this is now 5 frames, so you can get characters with 5-frame jab and get a punish or a bigger punish off of this than just a grab. And that's good to know, obviously, but it's still, of course, still roll punishable, or not roll punish, still throw punishable by every character in the cast. You probably won't be seeing like 4-5H into this, because this is just like you're in this position, it's like the same thing. If you're just throwing this, you're throwing L Fireball, but you're not wasting a cooldown. Like the same thing could happen, but it's just like, you know, you're not wasting cooldown. So I wouldn't expect them to throw this out when they're in this situation. Obviously, I'm not saying it won't ever happen, but it's very unlikely, especially at like higher level, I'd imagine. But yeah, pretty much just deal with this move how you would the L version. Or you get more reward for being right. But yeah, they lose cooldown and they die. So yeah. Next is the U version of her Fireball, which is actually pretty good, I'd say. It's kind of like your typical U Fireball, where it goes like full screen and it beats out normal fireballs. For example, I'll just record this real quick. So yeah, obviously be aware of this move if you're playing like trying to zone her out and she has 50 meter. Obviously you have to be worried regardless because she has riding free, but on the topic of this move, you know, when she has 50 meter, that option opens up and it is pretty strong. It also does a pretty good chunk of chip damage. You can see like that, like right there, that's a pretty good amount of chip damage if I do say so myself. So yeah, if you're like in chip situations, this move is also something to look out for. Also, funny enough, I'm pretty sure she's always plus off of this move. So if I were to do this, yeah, I'm spot dodging like extremely early. She's still plus. So yeah, that's also one thing to note. If you're like really close to her and you like spot dodge late, or you roll late or something like that, like maybe in a situation like, let's just say like here, and then you roll late, you're -8 and she can not close H you, but she can hit you with a close M or close anything. So yeah, be wary when you're like right next to her, because she's always gonna be plus after this move. So I wouldn't recommend rolling this. I'd probably just spot dodge in place, because she's like, even if you're late, you don't want to risk, like, you'd rather not be in her face and risk eating like a close normal than you being like right here where she still can't like punish you, even though you're still minus, you're not in like range to eat something immediately. Of course, if you spot dodge at the right time, or if you roll it at the right time, and then, you know, you're like not minus enough to get punished, you can't just BC her off you if she does try to continue pressure. But obviously, it depends. It's up to you. I definitely recommend just spot dodging. But yeah, there's also a situation I'll cover a little bit towards the end of the video when I cover like situations, obviously, with this move in particular, because it's pretty messed up, and you probably won't see it a lot outside of like higher level stuff, but it's still pretty important to know if you ever come into this situation. But yeah, that is her fireballs. Let me take a sip real quick, and we'll get into the next set of special moves. All right, 214 series. Sir, dive kicks. Obviously, you have all 4 versions that kind of do similar things, but it's not the exact same. I don't know with the 214L. Her 214L is always minus, but she's always safe. When you do a point blank, she is spaced out far enough to where grab doesn't reach. So yeah, you might see this move just come out like randomly, because it can beat out. I'm not sure it's like attack level, but it can just like randomly beat out like some stuff that you may throw out. Like you may be in the startup of throwing like a fireball or something like that. They throw this move out and then you get counter hit. They did add in this recent patch that this thing does counter hit, do even do a full combo on counter hit, but it's kind of weird. It's only the second hit, and then depending on how it depends on how far she is when she hits it, or how far away this move hits. So you see if she's like point blank right here, she's like +4, and you can't get anything off of that. But like imagine if like right here is +6, so she can get like a 4L off of this into a full combo. So yeah, you might, like I said, you might see this move come out like randomly and whatnot, because yeah, if they do get a counter hit at a decent range, then they can get a full combo. Obviously it's not too much if she's not in the corner, but still getting counter hit by this move is not cool regardless. So I say keep a lookout for this move, just come out randomly. If you do happen to block the first hit, then of course it frame traps, or not frame traps, it's a true confirm into the second. So regardless, you're gonna have to block this out. But if you don't want to deal with this actually, and you don't like, you know, you said +4 is not enough, then you can actually just if I can record this right, you can just BC it and it's guaranteed a counter hit. So you know, whatever character you play, you can set up something, or you can just, you know, side switch right here, depending on your position, whatnot. But yeah, if you block it, you know, you're plus. It's your turn. So yeah. Nothing too crazy, but it's good to know that you can if you really don't want to deal with this move. Force counter hit is on a BC is pretty good, all things considered. So worst case scenario, you know, you can spend a bravery point and take that knockdown. So yeah, if she is far enough away actually and the first hit whiffs, then you can actually like preempt a spot dodge and you can punish. I wouldn't like rely on this because obviously this move is not easy to react to, but yeah, if you happen to, then you can get a punish. Throw obviously is pretty reliable right here, because depending on the timing, depends on how well you're going to be able to punish it. But yeah, throw is a pretty reliable option, but I wouldn't recommend just like, you know, trying to scout this move out with the spot dodge just randomly. But yeah, scouting out with spot dodge is something that you might want to do with her M version, because her M version is pretty slow on startup. It's like 30 frames. So if you can react Raging Strike, which is 28 frames, you should be able to react to this move. But obviously, you know, I never say it's easy. You probably, you know, with a lot of like conditioning and whatnot, or like seeing this move in like certain situations, you'll probably get more used to it. But yeah, this move, unlike 214 L, doesn't have a first hitbox, so she just goes straight up and then lands with this, and she is +4. So yeah, you might see this move as a throw bait. You might just see it come out from like who knows how far, and then, you know, she's plus. So yeah. But yeah, you can spot dodge this move. It's like just like the other one, it depends on the timing you spot dodge. For how like your frame data, you spot dodge like that early, you're +10. You spot dodge late, even. But even like if you spot dodge extremely late, she's always the most plus if she lands this move. So regardless, spot dodging is still a really good option, because like I said, no matter what time you spot dodge, you'll still be worse, even worst case scenario, less negative than you were on block. So yeah, but it's pretty generous. Grab is always a solid option. Obviously, if you're early enough, you can get a bigger punish depending on what character you play and whatnot. But yeah, pretty much this move is just spot dodge it if you see it. You should be able to just throw it. If you do want to react to it with like something like a DP, then that's also an option. But spot dodge definitely gives you the biggest reward if you are ready for it. So yeah, you see this move, spot dodge, very cool. All right, her other move, her H dive kick, is like the L version in the sense that it's 2 hits, but it is like the M version in the sense that it is plus on block. But unlike the L version, actually, there is a gap in between the first and the second hit. You see this? It's kind of just like, I don't know if you can really tell with that, but yeah, there is a gap in between the first and second hit, which you can actually just do anything. Well, not anything. Yeah, if you mash, you'll get crushed. So like, I'll just do this for example. I tried to press close out. I don't have the display. Let's see. Not the controller. And pull up. So you see, try to press L between the gap. Doesn't work. But you can DP it in between this gap if you have a reversal. So you do block the first hit, then the second hit can always be reversaled, no matter the character you're playing, as long as it's invincible. So yeah. But even better, if you're in the corner, actually, you can just walk out, and she's almost minus 30. So yeah, this is only a thing when she's in the corner. Like if I do this like right here, I walk her out, I try to walk forward, I get hit. So yeah, this is only something that works if you're directly in the corner. There are some times where like you even like the slightest bit out right here. Okay, actually no, that's fine. Maybe if like you're a little further out, like right here. No, maybe I'm just dumb. But yeah, if you're in the corner, if you're in the corner, you can just like walk out and be like, okay, I don't want to deal with this anymore. Yeah, you have to be pretty close to the corner, as you can see. Like kind of like right here. That's like maybe like a character length, within like a character length, and like from the corner. Of course, depending on the character length will differ. Also, I'm not 100% sure, like if this works with like bigger bodies. Actually, we can test that real quick. Like, what if I went to Velociraga and tried walking out the corner? Okay, he still can. So yeah, every character should be able to just kill her for this if they try doing it. So yeah, if you do block the first hit of this move and you're in the corner, then keep that in mind. But of course, if you're not in the corner and you can't walk out, then being able to DP it if you have a reversal on you is a solid option. You can also BC it if you don't want to eat this. If you BC the before the, okay, that's kind of scary. But yeah, it's kind of weird if you want to counter hit. So you probably, if you want to just like not deal with this, then you probably have to do that. Like wait for the second hit to fall. I was able to get a counter hit at one point. Okay, like something like that. And the timing is really weird. If you mess it up, you'll probably die. So yeah, if you don't want to block it, then like if you don't have a reversal, you can spot, or you can like roll it. And she's still plus though, but if like worst case scenario, then again, it's just like the M version where doing something is better than doing nothing. So yeah, worst case scenario, you don't have a reversal, you just like roll it and you'll be away from her, and depending on when you roll it, would change your frame data, but obviously, just like the other one, you can never be punished. So, yeah. That is the H version of that. Hold on, let me take another sip of water. Alright, and then her U version is kinda... This move is pretty good as well. This crushes like a lot of like options, just like in general. It's like the L version where the first and second hit are a true block string. And it is always +4. But yeah, just like the L version. Again, you can just like if you block the first hit. Okay, I lied. Isn't guaranteed, but if you do it too early, but if you can block it late, or yeah, you can BC it late and still get the counter hit. So if you don't want to deal with it, that's always cool. But what about rolling and spot dodging, like I mentioned before? Obviously, like it's blue flash, so probably easier to recognize. But rolling and spot dodging is kind of scary. Oh, I guess rolling less so. Spot dodging though is kind of scary. If you spot dodge, you see that the grounded hit actually catches the spot dodge. And in some situations, you can get a full combo with this, which is pretty scary, which she normally can't do even on hit. Even if you spot dodge it at the right time, she's still plus. So yeah, spot dodging is kind of scary. But rolling can always get you out of this situation. And you're actually plus. So this is something you're probably going to have to kind of like be conscious of doing, because usually when people see blue flash, they'll probably like spot dodge, and then you'll get caught by this move. But yeah, with this move in particular, rolling is a good option. If you're doing it on reaction, you probably will never be able to get a punish, but at least you'll be plus and away from this move. So yeah, keep that in mind when seeing this move. If you block it, BC is a good option because it always counter hits as long as you're not like extremely late. As long as you hit it before the splash, the ground splash, then you'll get a counter hit BC, which is a pretty safe option. But if you can react to this move, then roll it. But yeah, even like worst case scenario, if you are late, she can't punish you for this. But yeah, again, it's better to do something than nothing in this situation. So yeah, keep that in mind when you see this move. Alright, now into the riding free. Another sip of water real quick. Alright, riding free, or 2-2 series. L version. L version is goes the shortest distance out of all her riding free variants. It doesn't lead into a full confirm off a counter hit like it used to do, which is great. He's only +2 off of this now, so yeah, it's not as scary to get hit by anymore, but it's still a pretty decent move. It's pretty fast, 18 frames. So you're typically not reacting to this move at all, and does low profile a lot of moves. So something to keep a lookout for. Like even your normals aren't safe. Like you can fireball. Well, of course, depending on the time, but yeah. Low profile a lot. That goes for all her variants of this, but like yeah, this is very scary. So I definitely just, you know, keep a lookout for this move at all times. If you block it, she is safe. She is -4 and it can't be thrown, because it's too far away. She does have a follow-up off of this. All her variants of this have a follow-up that you can do, like, do manually, but this isn't a frame trap. The reason why I bring up this, the fact that this isn't a frame trap, is the fact that her M version does have a frame trap. So, let me just show this real quick. Yeah, if I do this, I just wasn't blocking first. You see me mashing right there in between. It doesn't frame trap. So yeah, you can always, like, you know, just kind of mash and like basically get your turn back. They can DP after this because they're safe. So I'd say keep that in mind when you're trying to take your turn back after this move, because DP is definitely an option that you'll see a lot, or you may see when encountering certain Beatrix players. They might just make themselves minus so they can DP in your face. So yeah, keep that in mind. But yeah, that's the L version. M version is basically the L version, but it goes further and it activates later. It has 28 frames, so the exact same frame data as Raging Strike. Very cool. So actually you can react to this and do something about it. So for example, you can hit this if you're ready for it. Like you see something, if you have a low hitting move, then you can hit this. Depending on what your character has, you might be able to get like even a full combo or something like that. Granted, and his plus a pretty plus 2M. So yeah, depending on the character, yeah, you know, see what works for you. Some people just getting a knockdown is good enough. Like you 2U or something like that, it works. But you can also grab this. So if you're, you know, not comfortable with like pressing a button, because sometimes you may press a button and, you know, you may press the wrong button, be late or something like that, and then it low profiles it. You can always grab it. So this is a pretty decent way to deal with this move if you can react to it. Obviously you're gonna have to watch out for this move if you're throwing, like, playing projectile wars with her, because she can't just low profile any of this when she feels like it. But yeah, just being aware of this and being able to counter appropriately is good, whether it is mash or throw. I would say throw is a more consistent option, because you don't have to worry about, like, if you're using, like, you're just like kind of like pressing normals, like sometimes like you might be a little bit late. Yeah, it's pretty generous, but it depends on like spacing. Like if you're like right here and you're a little bit late, you'll get hit by that, and then you don't want that, because she gets a bigger combo off of that now. So yeah, something to keep in mind. Yeah, I'd say this is more reliable, but do what's more comfortable to you. Obviously, you probably get more reward off of a like mash if you get a good mash or like a good press. So yeah. Anyways, her H version. H version did get nerfed, but it's still basically the same. Kind of. It is more negative. It is -8, so like certain characters can get a pretty big punish if you have an 8 frame close H, like Gran. If I can do this right. Timing is still kind of weird. But yeah, you should be able to get a true punish off of that. Most characters can just like close normal or something like that. Far light. But yeah, unlike the other two versions, this one is active all the way through. These used to all be lows, but now only the first hit's a low. I can actually show you this. Here. You can see it goes low, high, high, high. This used to all be lows. So if you block the first hit low, you can stand up and block the rest of them. It was mainly to not fix, but there would be a lot of times where people will block the first hit and then they'd stand up, and then they get hit by the other hit, and then they get delta clocked. So yeah, honestly, you probably won't be seeing this move too much in neutral when she doesn't have delta clock. Instead, you might be seeing like the M version, but this version is also unreactable. But it's a lot easier to punish now, so it's a lot more risky on their part, but it's still a pretty good call out option for them if they're right, especially if they're closer to the corner, because the follow up does lead into a full combo. Yeah, the follow up also doesn't frame trap, unlike the M version. I actually didn't show off the M version frame trapping before, so let me do that real quick. You see I was mashing right there and I caught it. So yeah, this frame traps. The H version doesn't. But yeah, pretty much not that much else to it. Just like be ready to block this move low, and you'll probably see it a lot more when she has delta clock. Just so she can, like, you know, cheese out something. So yeah, that's pretty much 214H. Oh, I need some more water. It's dry as hell. Alright, and now for her U riding free is kind of the same thing as her H riding free. It's just -6 instead, like the H version was prior. So yeah, you should be able to get a pretty decent punish off of this, of course, depending on your character. Not every character is not every character has a close frame, a close normal that's like 6 frames. But yeah, most characters should be able to get like a 4L, or some characters might have to 2L. But regardless, you still should be able to get a punish off of this. But yeah, you'll probably see this a lot more when they're like trying to go under projectiles, because especially in the corner, this leads to a full combo and it gives a hard knockdown, which is good. So yeah, honestly, not much else to say about this move. If you do spot dodge it, however, you can punish depending on how early you spot dodge, will change how plus you are. But regardless, you should still be plus enough to get a throw punish. I don't think she's anything better than -4 right here, so she'll probably always be in your face. But yeah, of course, the earlier you spot dodge, the better punish. But walking is always a decent option because she'll always be -6 right here, and then you can always get the same punish. So yeah, that is you riding free. Alright, I think that's all her specials. Like I said, I'm not covering DPs because, yeah, DPs just block right, I guess. So yeah, situational stuff. I need more water. Alright, yeah, situational stuff. There isn't too much, but yeah, I already covered some stuff before, or like briefly. But one thing I did mention before, 214M is often seen as a throw bait. So yeah, I guess be ready, spot dodge punish. There really isn't too much else to say. But yeah, it's pretty risky throw bait on their part. But yeah, sometimes it might be shown as an option and you gotta be ready to spot dodge and kind of like discourage that option. One bigger thing though is 2-2L in this specific situation right here. If you didn't know, you can fuzzy block to beat out the high-low auto combo mix. You don't know what a fuzzy block is. You kind of just like change your block timing to cover two different options, because these high-low comes out different times for auto combo. So you see the first active frame 12 frames right here on the low, and then 18 on the overhead. You can change your block in a specific timing to beat that out in particular. So for example, I'm gonna try this out. I'm not like I don't consciously do this, so I don't think I have it like muscle memory, but I gotta try this out. So I have to change this to so you kind of just like, you see if like, if you look at my the input log on the back on the left side, I'm like always changing my timing at the exact same time. But if I were to do this instead, this kind of messes up the timing, because this move is actually the same frame data as if you were to do the overhead. So if I do the same timing again, I'd get hit by the lip. So yeah, this is something that, like, she used to be able to get like a full confirm before, because people used to like counter hit in this situation, pressing a button, and then she'd kill you for it. But obviously it isn't as scary, but it is something to look out for. So you're kind of gonna have to like react. There really isn't like a way to like counter this, I'd say. You could spot dodge, but she's still plus, so yeah, you're probably just gonna have to hold it, but it's something to keep in mind, because this can like, of course, it's gonna be frustrating to deal with, but it's also just like, you know, certain situations, you know, you might be in like one touch situation and then you're fuzzy blocking and then you get hit by this because it messes up your fuzzy block. So yeah, it's a good thing to know. Obviously, if you don't want to play defense and you just BC and you don't have to worry about it, but yeah, it's something to look out for always. Okay, like I said, there wasn't too much, but there is one other thing I want to go over, which is this situation right here. I did mention that you probably won't be seeing it a lot, but it is great to know, because this is a very messed up situation to be in. This particular setup right here is extremely scary, especially when you're in chip situation, because it's pretty much a checkmate. So you wake up, this ult fireball hits you immediately, and you're like, okay, so like, what if I just spot dodge? If I spot dodge, I'm minus 11, and guess what is 11 frames? You're 4 of H. So yeah, this is a really messed up situation that you can't really do too much about, but it's always good to kind of like know like the cue for this situation, or like when it's happening, which you'll usually see off of a frame kill off of a 4-5M to set up the 236U. Depending on the character, you might be able to DP, but like your DP might be able to reach, but she's like at such a far like spacing that it usually doesn't work. You saw I tried to DP, I did try to do old HDP, or Gran, and it just, she had like recovered enough time to block it. But you could, I'm pretty sure you can reversal super, depending on your character. You see, that will work right there. So yeah, pretty much the only way to get out of this situation is if you have a reversal super. I'm not sure what other characters, like, you know, DPs work against this. Let me just try, like, the character with the biggest DP I can think of is freaking Siegfried. I gotta see if this works. No, it doesn't even reach. So yeah, DPs are not working against this move. So yeah, it's probably best to like recognize the situation. If you can't get chipped out in this situation, it's definitely best to hold it because you'd rather take chip damage than eat a 4 H. But yeah, the situation is messed up. It is very, very messed up. So yeah. If you do have meter for a super, then super. If you don't, then you die. But yeah, that's pretty much that. So yeah, I guess that's all. That's all for the second installation of Counterplay Archive. Yeah, Beatrix. She is pretty straightforward, honestly. There isn't too much specific stuff to know. But it's always nice to know the really the pretty simple stuff and how to deal with it if you weren't already familiar with it, because it can just be overwhelming if she's throwing out this move and doing this stuff, and then the occasional right and free what do I do about this. But yeah, there's a lot of options to every single thing that she throws out. It's just a matter of being able to, it's just about knowing, because fighting games are all about knowledge. Usually the better players are the players that know the most about this game, know the interactions in and out and whatnot. But yeah. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Hope this was helpful in any way, shape, or form. But yeah, I'm not sure what character I'm gonna be doing next. Obviously, open to any suggestions. If not, I'll think of something eventually. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I don't know if there's anybody actually here, but if there are any specific questions, I'm definitely open to answering. If not, I'll probably just end stream and go eat some lunch. I'm hungry. I had a freaking cinnamon roll and came straight to stream. But yeah. That's pretty much it. Fairy? Next? Or zoners? Okay, yeah, I can definitely do that. I was thinking probably fairy, or zoners, or more some of the more gimmicky characters, or maybe Vasaraga, because Vasaraga is extremely strong in this patch, and yeah, definitely had an increase in players as of recently. But yeah, I could definitely do fairy next. Sounds like a plan, because fairy has a lot of pretty niche stuff to deal with certain situations, and it's a lot more situational stuff than it is just specific moves. So yeah, I'm probably gonna have to do some research on certain setups and whatnot, but I'm pretty sure most of the setups have the same option. But yeah, I'll definitely look into that or refresh my knowledge for the next time. Okay, so fairy, that's cool. Alright. So I guess we know who we're doing next time. Fair. And then we'll figure out like zoners or something like that, and maybe like boss. I was thinking of also, if no one had any ideas, I'd probably like Vikala or Kag, because those are the two, like one of the two characters I play. They're also kind of gimmicky in their own right, so. Yeah. Matera is, honestly, Matera just kind of broke. Not gonna lie. I was thinking about it before because there's like a couple characters I'm like, okay, I'll like in my head, okay, this is how you deal with this. But I'm like, when I think Matera is kind of just like, this character's just kind of good. I guess really just guess right. Broken for mid-tier? Oh yes. Mid-tier Matera. With 0 counterplay, but just guess right, you know? Like, what's the counterplay to 4 Favel, man? What am I supposed to say about this? Just don't be in range? Well, Wayne counterplay? Yeah, that's also another. That's another big one. Write all these down, but obviously I probably need to like actually do stuff, or not like actually do stuff, but I need to make this more frequent. But yeah, Lil for sure. Although I feel like the Lil counterplay thing is gonna just be like, use block button. Whenever you see bros, always walk low first. But no, yeah, I'll probably look into more specifics because there's a lot of messed up setups. But yeah, I'll look into that. I have that written down for next time. So we'll start with Fairy, and then we'll kind of just go mess with the gimmicky characters and whatnot. I'm like, who else is like cringe? Grimnir is cringe, but like, what's the counterplay to this guy? Just block? Don't throw? Like, Voss is cringe. He has like actual like counterplay. Alt F4, so true. 2B? Like 2B? What am I supposed to say? Oh, it's 2B, man. I guess I'll figure it out, but like Vayne? Just spot dodge? Lol. Honore? No one plays this character. I'm like, do people really need like counterplay against a character that just like never gets big? Well, I guess it'd be nice and obviously. But yeah. Alright, well, 2P jump forward, yeah, until you get 2H and then you're like, well, GG's. It's like knowing when to jump forward, or like knowing when to do whatever is important. Yeah. It's interesting. But yeah, I'm just gonna be like, yeah, if nobody has any, well, just to close this off, if nobody else has any more questions, I'm just gonna probably call it here. I appreciate you guys for coming by, see this live. The VOD should be up on YouTube, so anybody missed it and, you know, just want to watch it back for themselves, it's there. I'm probably just gonna edit it as well, just to make it a proper video, because proper videos are also nice. But yeah, I'm gonna call it here, grab myself some food. I'm tired. But yeah, I appreciate you guys for stopping by, and yeah, I'll see you guys eventually or something like that. Maybe the next one, whenever it happens. So yeah. Alright, peace.